Hey everybody, it's Jay and John Doubles Talk. John, how you been?
Good. How about you?
Good. John, tell us what we're going to talk about today.
Well, we're going to have a series of instructional videos here on doubles positionings and the formation and the possibilities from each position, from the server, server's partner, returner, and returner's partner.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get started.
All right. What I like to think of when about each position, one thing that each position has in common, let's say we're going to use a pie chart. Each individual has their own strategy that they're going to be using, and strategy is made up of a bunch of tactics. For instance, on serving, as a server's partner, my serving strategy could consist of hitting wide serves. Let's say half of my serves I like to hit wide, going out to the corners here and here. And then maybe a quarter down the tee, down here or here, and a quarter into the body, okay? Body serves that are going to come into here. So that would be my pie chart of tactics, okay? And that whole chart is my strategy for serving, okay? Now it's going to change depending on my opponents too. I don't want to be serving wide if my opponents are very good at controlling those wide serves. So I'll change my tactics and reverse that. I'll go to tee for half, perhaps, and then a quarter wide, and then a quarter into the body. Or I'd switch that up and go body a lot if they're good out wide. So it just depends on your skill level too, and certainly your opponents are going to have abilities that you want to recognize too.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. So our first video here is going to be on what the server is going to do. Okay, Jay, what do you like to do as a server? What are your main things? I know a lot has to do with your opponent, and then of course your partner's abilities too.
Right. I tend to would first try to get a lot of first serves in, and once I did that, I'm going to stay back on the baseline after I serve. Usually 2 or 3 shots, I'll slide to the right a little bit, and I'll stay back here for 2 or 3 ground strokes, and hoping that my partner on the second or third can maybe pick off one of their cross-court balls. And the reason I would stay back a lot of times is if I can out-rally the other player from the baseline, that puts our team in a pretty good advantage. If I want to put a lot of pressure on my opponent, oftentimes what I'll do is I'll hit one deep, and then I'll try to work my way into the service line so that I make a good line up here with my partner and put pressure on the back player, which is the returner. So it changes depending on who I'm playing against. I like getting into the first couple games trying to really stay steady and work on, because I think a lot of tennis is rhythm, and so if you can be consistent early on and get that feel, that's going to help you later on in the match. So I'm going to play within myself, hit a couple ground strokes low over the net, trying to keep it away from this player that's poaching, removing. So that's where I would start out playing the first couple games in doubles if I'm the server.
Excellent. So when you're serving, do you follow kind of that pie chart idea that I had, where you're trying to serve to your opponent's weakness, basically?
Yes. Yes.
And vary it.
Right.
Yeah.
And my pie chart would look more like maybe 80% would go to the backhand. So on the deuce side, I'd be serving down the tee, and then on the odd side, I'd be serving out wide. And what I'm going to try to do is, if I can serve it to the backhand, hopefully I can get them to kind of come off their base and stretch a little bit so they're not on the ground hitting a smooth shot. If they're off balance, then their shot is going to be controlled. So that allows my net player then to maybe move towards the middle and look at picking off a ball. Where do I stand in serving? Did you ask that yet? Where do I stand?
Where do you stand?
Okay.
When you serve?
Typically, I stand between the doubles line and the center hash mark, right in the middle. I feel like if I go too close in towards the middle of the court where the center mark is, then I leave this area open for a good cross-court return wide that's going to really be tough for me to get to. So I typically stay in the middle of my area to cover, and my area to cover is typically, we can go into that later, but I like to start right in the middle of the half. I don't move a lot on my serve. I pretty much stay. And then if I'm serving and volleying, I like to come in typically straight towards the service line area. Okay, that's the quickest way.
Do you use the same formula as far as your position is concerned on the ad side? Halfway between center mark and sideline?
On ad side, actually, you know, that's a great question, John. I probably will go another step out just because I really like this angle coming into the backhand corner.
With your
out
forehand?
wide. Well, yeah, that,
And
but I
return.
feel like
Okay.
I can hit my serve wider
Okay,
if I
gotcha.
move out further.
Okay.
But that brings up a good point, what you're talking about. In my game, I prefer a forehand than a backhand, so when that return comes back, if I'm standing out towards the singles line area, that's basically an inside-out forehand for me, which I prefer.
Yeah.
So
There you
now,
go.
John,
So-
where do you stand?
I use I like to stand actually closer to the single sideline on both sides. I like to go to go with the wide serves quite a bit, and then I like to serve and volley too, so that puts me in a little bit better position as I'm coming in at a steeper angle here.
Right.
Okay. So.
Now, you just said something about you want a wider serve.
I want to use that more frequently. yeah.
Okay, why? Why is that?
Because I can pull my opponent off the court, and if I can get them off their base, their setup base, then they're less likely to hit a clean return. And I'm just make my partner aware that I like to go wide, and to have them hold their position, especially if I'm serving volley. I don't really need a partner who's going to be poaching a great deal.
Okay.
It's nice to have someone who's quick and can pick off that middle ball should it come, but if you serve and volley, your partner can just stay put a little bit more.
Okay. As we talk about the server's partner, where are they going to start? Where do
That's
you
our
like
next
that?
video.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right, if you have any questions about this video, you can leave them in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube, or email Jay or myself, and we'll try to have a follow-up video for this for the server's position.
Server's
All right.
Okay.
See you next time.
Take care.